Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pathway to Profit. Now, you're probably wondering who I am and why you should be listening to me. Before you go into any course, mentorship, or want to learn from any educator, you have to do a qualification process to even consider why you should be listening to them. The example I like to give is if you want to learn to invest in the S&P 500, you could learn that from your high school economics teacher and they'll tell you, invest in the S&P 500. You could also get that same information from Warren Buffett. Now, as you can imagine, you would much rather listen to Warren Buffett as opposed to your high school teacher. The reason being, the credibility of the source of the information is just as important as the information itself. So my name is Waqar Asim. I've been trading for 8 years now, and I'm going to explain a little bit about my life story. I've been in the markets for 8 years now, and I started 8 years ago when I was a university student. I was out living in Madrid, studying dentistry, and like a lot of you guys, looking for ways to make money online. And I was going from project to project, and I tried a lot of ways to make money online, and through the internet, through social media, I came across the Wild West, the wonderful world of trading. And you see it all. You see the flashy Lambos, you see the laptop lifestyle, and it was very alluring and appealing. So I did delve into it, and my problem was that I associated credibility of the source of the information tied to the number of followers they had. Assuming that the more followers they have, the better their Lamborghini is, the better of a trader they are, and therefore better information that I can learn. And that was a big mistake I made because, as you can imagine, there is the world of fake gurus, and the problem with trading specifically, the barrier to entry becomes so low, but the perceived upside is infinitely high. You could be a multimillionaire, even a billionaire from trading, and that space between infinitely low barrier to entry and perceived upside being infinitely high, well, that's the space that the internet will try and sell you a dream. So I'm here to do something a little bit different, which is first qualify myself and then go into speaking about the industries, the pitfalls, and how we are going to navigate things differently. So from a young age, my family has always pushed me into education. In fact, we did not go on fancy vacations. Instead, my father would rather put that money into more and more education for me and my siblings. That meant more homework, more tutoring, more lessons out of school, with the immigrant mindset being that education led to the freedom that my father and mother had. Therefore, he wanted to embody that same principle in myself. So therefore, from a young age, in high school, GCSEs, I was always pushed to learn and achieve more and go for educational excellence, meaning top grades that I had in GCSE, all A stars. Then I went to my A levels, once again, all A grades, and then finally going to university and doing 6 years of dentistry, pursuing academics first. And the difference between myself and my parents, who were immigrants to the UK, where I was born in the UK, I was born in the West, I was watching everything on the internet, my mindset and framing was a little bit different. Even though I was pushing myself academically, and for me it even made sense to go and pursue education to the highest level, because those qualifications could lead to security, lead to a good job, and lead to a form of success that we're all taught from a young age. But when I was at university and I was seeing all of these things online, I thought there's more to life and there's more types of freedom that I could be going for apart from just security and a high salary. And again, this is quite a big risk I was taking because a dentist will make 10 to 15K a month. It's a very secure, very stable job. I can work in any country and it's a very respected career to have. So whilst I was at university, I knew that this was going to be something I had to complete. It was a project that I knew would be a backup for me in life, because you never know what happens. But I thought it would be such a waste of time if I spend 6 years in university and the only thing I achieve is my degree. Think about it, it's 6 years of isolation where I don't have to think about my rent, I don't have to think about fees, I don't have to think about anything apart from exams and passing and graduating. And although I was super busy with case studies and group projects and exam after exam and clinical work and so forth, I did still have a lot of time. And instead of throwing myself into the partying that everyone does at university or the social side of university, I thought I have 6 years to achieve anything I want. So I went from idea to idea and I picked up a lot of things. I started to read more, listen to a lot of podcasts. And eventually when I did come across trading, I came into it with the wrong intentions. I thought this would be a get-rich-quick scheme. I thought this would be my way out. And therefore I threw myself into it. And just like I had pursued my academics and went all in with a very analytical mind, studying as much as I can, I applied that same philosophy to learning trading. And I went from mentorship to mentorship, course to course, and I started to realize a few major problems. Number one, the credibility of the source of the information was never verified. I could never see if they were a real trader or not. I could never see if they were even really trading or if they were just taking the course money they were selling from and using that to funnel a lifestyle, and then that lifestyle would attract more courses. Just a simple guru flywheel effect. The second problem was the information that I was receiving after course after course after course. I realized it was just the same regurgitated information again and again. And the reality was most of that information was freely available on YouTube. So I thought, why am I even going from mentorship to mentorship when I don't even know if the mentorship can really trade? The information is the same again and again, and it's not leading to the results I wanted. So then I thought, trading must be a scam. No one's really doing it. I cannot see anyone that is truly a profitable trader. And the typical journey that everyone has when they're starting a new project or a new idea or a new journey, let's say you're thinking of starting to learn how to trade, you will have a very similar journey. And this is referred to as the emotional cycle of change, where you'll start off with a new project. You're excited. You think you're going to learn so much. You think you're going to have so much financial success. You think it's going to be easy because you found a great mentor, and you're going to be very excited, very emotional, and very hopeful. This stage is referred to as uninformed optimism. You're going to be very optimistic, very hopeful, and you think it's going to be easy. And then you go on to the next phase, which will be you start to learn, you start to study, and you think, okay, I can do this, but it's going to be hard. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And this is called informed pessimism. Now we know the journey ahead. It's a lot harder than we thought. And we start to think, is this possible or not? Therefore, going from excited and hopeful to a little bit skeptical and a little bit pessimistic. And then as we continue to go on, we put in time, we put in effort, we do everything we are supposed to do, but we don't get the results we are wanting, and it gets hard. And that's when you enter the valley of despair. Now, when you're in the valley of despair, which every single person will reach, that's when you go to another thing, another industry, another idea, another get-rich-quick scheme. And if you don't get yourself out of the valley of despair and you just hop to another one and hop to another one, you'll just repeat that loop. Uninformed optimism, you're hopeful that you found the next big thing. Then you start it gets a little bit hard. Then you go to informed pessimism. And then once again, you end up in the valley of despair, and then you go to another thing. And that's where you can waste years and years and make no real progress. The way I like to think of it, if you can just break yourself out of the valley of despair, every industry, every skill set has a minimum activation energy, we can call it, where there's a threshold. And once you break past that threshold is where you'll find the results you need. But the problem is if you're in the valley of despair and that threshold you need to reach, and let's say it's that typical 10,000 hours to master something, if there's a huge gap there and you don't put in the 10,000 hours, let's say you just put in 1,000 hours, then you go to the next thing and you put in another 1,000 hours, and then the next one and the next one. Well, you're just going from one valley of despair to the other, but you're still accumulating time and effort. But if you just stuck to one thing and put in consistent time and effort with the right mentor, with the right education, then you could actually break out of the valley of despair and finally reach the results you wanted. And I recognized that from a young age. I didn't want to go from one thing to the other. And I'm a very curious person. I'm a very hardworking person and a very analytical mind. So when I was in my own valley of despair, where I was going from mentorship to mentorship, and I couldn't really find the answers, I realized that is not enough. There's no such thing as buying a course and you get the results you want. There's also external elements that I need to work on that are in my control. And that's something you will also need to do. Not one course is going to magically change your life, because there's a lot of things you need to do alongside that. Think of it. You're going to the gym and somebody's teaching you how to do the bench press. They're teaching you the correct form, the correct tempo, the correct rep range. They're also teaching you how to eat clean, what kind of protein, carbs, and fats you should be having. So you have all of this information. But information without action is fickle. It doesn't lead to anything. So you need to know, when you've taken this information from this program, how you're going to go and apply it. You have to go and eat that meal yourself. You have to go and do your own reps in the gym. And in this case, you're going to take this education, then you have to go and apply it yourself, experiment yourself, test it, and so forth. That's the long journey. So my objective with this program is to shorten that curve, so you're not spending 8 years like me studying, refining, backtesting, and improving, because that is an extended period of work. And my job as a coach or an educator or a mentor is to shorten your learning curve. So I'll be honest, trading is not easy. It's one of the hardest industries in the world, because you are competing in a zero-sum game environment, meaning money is not created or destroyed. It goes from one participant to another. So therefore, it's direct competition of winners to losers. So when you are in a competitive environment, when you are competing against big hedge funds, big banks, big institutions with AI, tech, staff, resources, us as individuals, we have to work a little bit harder, or let's say a little bit smarter. So in that case, when it is a zero-sum game environment and we have to build our own edge, my thoughts with this program was, let's not just go and teach you how to trade. And the perception is trading is easy, especially when you see it online. You think anybody can be a trader. You don't really need to do much. Just buy a course, open an account, and start trading. And that's why 90% of traders lose, because they come in with the wrong mindset and they don't have respect for the journey that is truly required. And the way I look at it is to become a consistently profitable trader, to do this for years and years and make a whole career out of it and slowly build an equity curve through up periods and down periods, but over time growing. People really underestimate how hard that truly is. But that's okay, because our goal here is not to make you a full-time trader and make a whole career out of this. Our goal is to just make our first $1,000 with trading. And the reality is, to make a whole career out of it, people underestimate how hard it is. But to make just 1 or 2K, people overestimate how hard it is. And my objective with this is to give you a direct, actionable, step-by-step plan, not to teach you how to trade, learn all the schools of thought, learn all of the strategies, the terminology and lingo, and navigate your way through that. No, my job is to show you a specific plan, a specific checklist, a specific way of trading that I have curated myself after doing every single course you can imagine, studying every single school of thought, taking my almost decade long of experience and condensing it down to an actionable plan, utilizing smart strategies to take you from where you are right now as a beginner, as a novice, to an intermediate, but not really learning how to trade necessarily. It's learning how to have an actionable trade plan. So before I get into exactly the roadmap and the journey ahead and how we are going to achieve the goals of this curriculum, let's speak a little bit about myself. So of course, by now I am a dentist. I did my 6 years of university. I graduated and I did the full education system from top grades in my schooling career to then going on to university and then becoming a dentist. I did definitely make my parents proud, with the initial objective of them being from an immigrant family. Education was the key, and therefore I did excel in that vertical. But I did want more from life, and I knew that just becoming a dentist, working my 9 to 5 and having a high paying salary was like a golden prison. I did have security, I did have a good income, but I was not really free. I was still pegged to a location, I was still pegged to a 9 to 5 job, and I had no real growth potential that I truly wanted, and therefore not real freedom in my opinion. So when I looked into what kind of freedoms I wanted in my life, trading would definitely fulfill some of them, but again, not all of them. So then I started to make a roadmap for myself and my life, and going from where I was a university student to my end goal and objectives, which was certain types of freedoms. And I decided the best vehicle for me to achieve those goals and get to my final destination, the biggest stepping stone and the most important stepping stone, would not be my dental career, would not be my job. That would bring me financial stability. That would bring me maybe some form of respect in certain communities, but it would not bring me the freedom I truly wanted. When I understood leverage was the most important thing I could consider, meaning when I put in the same input, I can get a greater output. And leverage is such a powerful thing. It's considered the 8th wonder of the world. So I thought, what is a leveraged opportunity for me? And I'm not talking about leverage like going and getting a loan from a bank and buying a house. That can be quite dangerous if you don't have correct financial stability. I'm talking about leverage in my effort. So if I study for 6 years and do all of my exams and finally qualify to be a dentist, my leverage still is upon my time. I'm still exchanging my time for money, and that is going to have a bottleneck. I can only work so many hours a day, and therefore my earning potential is still capped. Yes, I can qualify more. Yes, I can specialize more, but it is still time for money. A level of freedom above that and a level of leverage above that is when you are not pegged to your time, when the same input leads to greater and greater output. And there's very few things in life where we can truly achieve this, but trading is definitely one of them, which is why I identified as one of the most powerful vehicles we can have and why it was the vehicle I chose for myself. Now, the leverage is something like this. If I can consistently get 10% return per year. That's a very achievable number, 10% annually. We are beating inflation. We are technically beating the market. And with good strategies in place, it is definitely achievable. 10% per year on $1,000 account, well, I'm better off just working my normal job. But if I keep growing that same trade, that same trading plan, that same trading system, and that same 10% gain at the end of the year, if I had a $10 million account, well, then it becomes definitely lucrative. Meaning trading is not necessarily a game of return. It's a game of capital. So when I started to think, okay, when I'm looking on Instagram, I'm looking on YouTube, and I'm seeing these account flips, I'm seeing these signal service providers, I'm seeing all of these people that are trying to sell me a dream, and they're flexing their lifestyle, they're showing me how easy it could be, maybe just copy and paste my trades. I realize they're not giving a realistic perception of the industry, because they're trying to show you that if you can do 1,000% return, 5,000% return, then you can achieve the goals you want. But when we realize that these big institutions, hedge funds, banks, they are not doing thousands of percent return. They're doing a modest 10 to 50% annualized return. And that's the reality of the markets. Obviously, as retail investors, we don't have the same problems that they do of liquidity and managing large capital. There are certain ways we can navigate it, but I realize I just need to be able to do 10, 20% return in a year, and I'm going to have the level of freedom I want if I can access the right amount of capital. Now, the industry has evolved a lot. Trading used to be for elites. It used to be for high net worth individuals that would have a diversified portfolio where trading would be part of it, and they would hire specialists, and therefore that would be outsourced. And when the industry evolved, it became more and more accessible. Then you could just invest in a hedge fund and you would have traders that would trade on your behalf and do a profit split with you. And then it became you'd have a dealing desk and you could call your brokerage and actually place trades yourself. And then it became to the digital era where you can just on your laptop and phone invest a little bit of money and become a trader all by yourself. So you can see the industry has evolved a lot. The access has become easier and easier, but the skill set has not changed one bit. The reality of the market has not changed one bit. So we still have to navigate it with correct expectations, but we do it in a more intelligent way. So what I'm going to show you is in this curriculum, not only how we can navigate actionable, mechanical, objective systems, so you can directly learn specific trade models that are proven to have a good win rate, a good risk reward, and proven profitability. And you don't need to learn everything in between. It's just a step-by-step checklist. And then our goal will be to go and find capital. I'm not talking about going to investors and pitching how good you are as a trader. Rather, we are going to utilize something called prop firms, proprietary firms, where if you can prove to them a base level of profitability, they will give you access to $100,000, $200,000, certain prop firms up to $400,000. And again, if we go to multiple prop firms, we can go 400,000 here, 400,000 there, and we can scale our assets under management, the amount of capital we have to trade, into the millions of dollars. Now, if we have access to, let's just say, $200,000, let's not get ahead of ourselves and talk about millions, just one prop firm, one $200,000 account, and we can achieve just 1 or 2% gain. I'm not talking about hundreds of percent like the industry is showing you. I'm not talking about even 50% in the annual perspective, just 2%. That 2% return, which is very achievable because I'm going to give you an exact step-by-step plan on how we can achieve those small, consistent gains. And again, we don't need to do this for the whole year. We just need to do it one time. We go and get one prop firm account. We learn specific trade models that are going to give us that small percentage gain. And we lock in just 2% gain once you have achieved that modest 2% gain. Then you can lock in what's called a payout, where the prop firm that has given you the capital, you lock in a withdrawal and you do a profit split with them. And if you can achieve just 2% gain, that will not only pay for any education you've done, not only pay for the prop firm evaluation fees and also the profit split, you'll be left with the goal of this curriculum, which is your first $1,000. As I said earlier, it is very hard to be a consistently profitable trader for years and years. That requires a lot of effort and mastery. But to lock in 2% one time with an objective plan and utilizing prop firms to achieve your first $1,000, well, do not overestimate how achievable that is, because I'm confident that every single one of you, if you follow this whole curriculum correctly and you do the steps that I'm going to teach you, locking in 2% gain on a prop firm account is within every single one of our capabilities. So as I mentioned in the beginning, it's important to know who you're learning from. And you should always question any educator, mentor, or course provider that you come across. Why should I learn from you? Why are you different to the rest? And is this just going to funnel your lifestyle, or is this something you truly do? Do you not only talk the talk, can you walk the walk? And so in this perspective, why should you be listening to me? So not only because I've been trading for 8 years and I've actually developed my own way of trading, my own strategy, my own thoughts and refinements that is not linked to any school of thought, and it's not going to be a way of trading that is regurgitated that you will simply find online. This is my system that I've built, that I've curated over 8 years of studying and having my own losses, having my own down periods, having my own struggles and sacrifices, and navigating year after year to slowly becoming a consistently profitable trader. I'm doing this full time. I don't have any other profession. I don't have any other thing to do. And my main source of income is still my trading career. So I am therefore not only just talking about it, I'm doing this every single day. And I have been doing this for years. After I graduated of 6 years of university, I had that tough conversation with my parents that I don't want to pursue dentistry anymore. I have the qualification, I have the respect, I have that backing in life now, but I now want to go and continue to pursue my passion and my own trading career and achieve the goals that I want to. So in fact, I've been trading full time, let's say, for the last 3-4 years since I had graduated, but I started within my university career. So I've been doing this for not only a long amount of time. Let's talk about the things I've been able to do in that time. So one thing that every single Forex mentor will do is never, ever, ever show you proof. They'll show you a demo account. They'll show you a screenshot. They'll show you these profits on their phone. And that's kind of the lifestyle that they trick you with. And then they'll show you the Lamborghinis and so forth and the fancy watches and the holidays. And then Leave it to your imagination to say those profits they flex on their phone, those signals that they provide where they have a kickback from the brokerage, they are incentivized for you to lose money, and then they show you the lifestyle. You kind of have to connect the dots and say, he's showing he's making profit, he's got a Lamborghini, he must be a profitable trader. And that's really not the case. This industry of Forex is one of the most scammy industries on earth because of the space to sell a dream. Low barrier to entry, perceived infinitely high upside, and therefore every single person online is wanting a piece of your pocket, and they'll go to extreme lengths to try and convince you they are profitable, but they won't just show you they are profitable. They will not show you an element of proof. So when I came into the industry, I thought, well, let me do something different. Let me not lead with lifestyle. Let me not lead with flexing profits and these kind of things. Let me lead with transparency. Let me lead with a skill set. Let me lead with my expertise and knowledge, not just fancy materialism. So if you go online and just search my name, I've actually posted a long-term track record, not just a week in trading, not just one or two trades that just happen to be my winning trades and hiding the losses that a lot of people do. Because in trading, anybody can find one winning trade. It's a flip of a coin. It's either going to go up or it's either going to go down. So if you wake up every morning and on one account you press buy, on another account you press sell, and the market went up, well, you hide your phone that said sell and you show the profits where it said buy. Very easy to manipulate people, very easy to convince people you are profitable. But the reality is, can you be profitable over time? Can you be profitable on a large sample size? So if you go and search my name online, I have published a long-term track record of not just one or two trades or a week or a month. I'm talking about hundreds of trades where you can see my full win rate, my full risk to reward, my gain, the periods where I was in drawdown, the average profitability. I've made videos showing it from end to end. Not only that, at the time of filming, I've done something that I don't think anybody in the industry has ever done, which is calling the market live ahead of time publicly for free. Anybody can Photoshop a screenshot. Anybody can manipulate a video, but no one can manipulate ahead of time calling the market. What I've done now for months on end, every single day, whenever I'm about to take a trade, I publicly post my analysis, my entry, my stop loss, the exact position I'm going to take, and then I give the live updates every single day, and I've been doing this for months. And again, it's not just a little Telegram group or a little hidden thing. I'm doing this publicly where 50,000, 100,000 people are watching my live call outs every single day. And in that period, I have gained over 40% return in front of everybody's eyes, and not a single person can call it scam because it's done live ahead of time. And the impressive thing is, not only am I able to achieve the 40% gain that I've shown publicly, it's hundreds and hundreds of people taking the same trades with me every single day, going on to pass these prop firm evaluations, going on to get funded and get large capital and actually making withdrawals and payouts. So it's not a case of just I've been doing this and showing it publicly with my track record and also my live call outs, but also traders all across the world are doing the same for free because I'm giving it publicly ahead of time. And if there's still an element of doubt after showing a track record, well, then I have my months of public call outs giving my trades live ahead of time. So in that case, I'm trying to fill every single checkbox you can to really qualify myself as a true trader. And therefore, when I come to this curriculum and want to teach you the knowledge that I have, you can rest assured that you're learning from not one of those lifestyle mentors and gurus, but you're learning from someone that has been doing this for years and years and that is truly profitable. And my objective as a mentor is not to just throw information at you, throw concepts at you that is regurgitated that you could find online. No, my goal is to shorten your learning curve and help you truly achieve your goal. So if I'm to reverse engineer that process, it's not about just throwing information at you and hoping you figure it out. No, it's taking the information that I have, the refinements I have, and giving you a step-by-step objective mechanical plan that anyone can follow that is directly proven to lead to the results we are trying to achieve here. So ladies and gentlemen, in the rest of the modules in this phase, we're going to be talking about the journey ahead, the roadmap on exactly how we are going to achieve our first $1,000 within trading, and how we are going to utilize these prop firms, how we are going to utilize good strategies and connect all of these dots together before we really get into the curriculum. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.